hope this finds you all safe and well. Today's practice is going to be in two 30-minute segments. So you can choose to do half of the practice, either the first half or the second half, or if you feel like you'd like to do the whole thing, it would be an hour-long practice. So use this as you'd like. And just begin by finding a nice, comfortable way to sit. Sitting up tall, allowing the eyes to relax, and the whole body to just begin to settle down. You might begin by taking in the sounds that are around you. Tuning into the sensations inside of your body. Any emotions, any feelings that are here. Resting in a place of non-judgmental awareness. Resting in a way that you can allow all of life's ups and downs, and we're certainly experiencing them now. Where you can allow all these ups and downs to just be here. To come and go. I notice as I'm speaking to friends that one day we're feeling positive and energetic, and the next day we're feeling quite different. So the idea for us is to meet all of these feelings, whatever they are, without attachment, without resistance, just to allow things to be. So one way that helps us to do that is to connect to the breath. Begin now to feel the breath inside of your body. Beginning by just noticing the natural quality of the breath. Whether the breath is deep, whether the breath is shallow. Allowing yourself a big, full, deep breath in now. Fill up your lungs and your chest and your upper back. Let out a sigh. And let everything go. Let everything go. Perhaps again, nice deep breath in to fill up your lungs, fill up the whole body. And as you exhale with a sigh, let go of any obvious areas of tension that might be willing to be released right now. Just one more time, a deep breath in. And a slow exhale out. From here, you can allow your eyes to come to the floor alongside the hips. And with your next inhalation, let the arms come out and up overhead. Interlace your fingers and turn the palms up towards the ceiling. Now press into the palms, press down into the hips, squeeze your navel in towards your spine, and reach into one side and the other, and see how much length you can find on the right side of the body and the left side of the body. Letting your hands come behind your head, press your head back into your hands, take your elbows back, look straight ahead. And then leaning over to the right, let your right elbow drop down, your left elbow drop up, keeping your left hip down, right hand to the floor, walk it over to the right, and look up towards your left elbow. Let that elbow come up and back. And if it works for your shoulders, straighten the left arm, send it all the way out to the right, pressing into your left hip and extending into the left fingers. Right shoulder is relaxed, right elbow is relaxed, face is soft. Inhale, come on back up, interlace your fingers, turn the palms up. As you exhale, press your palms forward and sink into your tailbone and round and flatten out the lower back. On your inhalation, lift the arms back up, sink into the pubic bone, look up at the back of your hands. And then find your neutral spine, let your hands come back behind your head, press your head back into your hands, engage your abdominals, lifting right elbow up, left elbow down, walk your left hand over to the left. Right elbow goes up and back, and the head might turn to look at that elbow, opening up through the right rib cage. And then sending that right arm all the way over to the left, reaching from the right hips into the right fingertips. Take one more breath, get even longer here. Inhaling both arms back up. And as you exhale, let the arms come around behind your back and interlace your fingers. Squeeze your elbows, your palms together. Open up the chest. Reach the hands up a little bit up and back. And then twist a little to the right and the left. Let the breath be full and deep. Feel the opening in the chest and the shoulders, front of the body. Let the arms now go out to the sides. Take the right arm over the left and come into eagle arms. Drop your shoulders down, reach your elbows and your wrists forward. As you inhale, lift the elbows up. As you exhale, drop them down. Do that 2 more times, lifting on the inhale, releasing on the exhale. 1 more time, up. This time as the elbows come down, the arms come out. Again, let them go back a little bit behind you. And then take the left arm over the right arm. This time we'll make some circles. Nice circles. Opening up the upper back. Breath smooth and steady. And then release your arms and just roll your shoulders a few times up, back, and down. Good. From here, come off of whatever it is that you're sitting on and come right up to table posture. If you have your blocks, you might have your blocks off the front corners of your mat now. As you set up your wrists underneath your shoulders or maybe a little ahead of them and spread your fingers, knees right underneath your hips. On the inhalation, I'll curl the toes, I'll lift the chest, lift the hips, lift my gaze, look forward. And then on the exhalation, flattening my feet, flattening the back, rounding the back. 2 more times. We're coming into the 6 spinal movements. So inhaling and you're coming into a dog tilt. Exhaling, coming into a cat tilt, flexing and extending your spine. These are the first 2 movements. 1 more time. Inhale, arch the back. Exhale and round the back. From here, find your neutral spine. Take a breath in. Lift your feet up off the floor if your knees are okay with that. As you exhale, look over the right shoulder, let your feet go to the right. Form a C curve with your spine. On the inhale, you're coming to the center and exhaling over to the other side. 2 more times each way. Inhale, center. Exhale, over to the right. These are the 2nd and 3rd movement, 3rd and 4th movements. Inhale, second, over to the left. Inhale, center, last time, over to the right. And then over to the left, opening the sides of the spine. Then we'll bring the feet back down if they were lifted. I'm going to start with my left hand so that you could see me. You could do either right or left arm up towards the ceiling, threading the needle. My left arm will come underneath my shoulder. I could stay here on my elbow, or I could bring my head to the floor if that works. My right hand will come onto my sacrum, and I'll take the right shoulder up and back. I could stay on both knees, or I could straighten that right leg out and maybe walk it over to meet my left hand. So if you have knee issues, staying on your knees is more advisable. Could also lift the right arm up. Begin to circle the wrist, maybe circling the whole arm. Finding my way back up to table. Just wagging my tail a bit to release any tension there. Finding my neutral spine going the other way. So now I'm going to turn away from you. Right arm is going to come up. It's going to come through underneath the left, bringing the head down. Left hand onto the sacrum. Maybe straightening the left leg, maybe staying on both knees. Left leg might walk out to meet the right hand. Left arm may come up towards the ceiling. As I circle the whole arm. 5th and 6th movements. Coming back up to table. Sitting back towards my heels. Here I'll just wag my tail a bit side to side, rocking in the hips. From here, lifting my hips up off my heels, curling the toes under, and lifting right up into down dog. In down dog, I'll let my head just hang, maybe shaking it, a little yes and no, so there's no tension in the neck. I'm going to press the mat forward and away as I reach my hips back and up. Abdominals are engaged, so I'm not sagging in the belly. From here, I'm coming forward into plank. From plank, up face dog. From up face dog, down dog. We'll do that 2 more times. From down dog into plank. From plank, up face dog. Up dog, down dog. 1 more time, plank. Up face dog. And down dog. Lowering knees to the floor. Sitting back into child. If you'd like, you could widen your knees apart. Let your belly come between the thighs. Might stack your fists. Let your head rest on your palms or a block. Just notice how you feel now. You might notice a little more heat, a little more energy in the body. Finding your way back up to table. Here I'm going to step my right foot forward. If you like using your blocks, you could bring your blocks now underneath your shoulders. See that your left knee is behind your left hip, not right under it. Take your hands onto the right knee and begin to bring your upper body up. So here I want to engage the abdominals. So draw the front ribs in. Right knee is right over the right ankle. Sink your hips forward and down. Feel the stretch in the front of your left thigh. Left quadricep muscles, big stretch here. My right hand, the thumb in the hip crease, press your hip back and down, still engaged in the abdominals. I'll lift my left arm up and reach into the left fingertips. I might lean over to the right a little bit to increase the stretch in the front of the left thigh. Then coming back up, bringing left elbow outside the right knee, right hand onto the left hand. Still sinking the hips forward and down. For those who would like, curl the back toes, lift the back knee up. Otherwise, keep it on the floor. Take your hands down to the blocks. Everybody lifting your back knee now. Step back to down dog. Resting here for a few breaths in down dog. Look forward and take your left foot forward. Let the right knee come down. Right knee is behind the right hip. Left knee is right over the left ankle. My hands come up onto the left knee. I'll push down into it, lift my chest up, sink my hips forward, draw the front ribs in. Shoulders back and down, face soft. Left thumb goes into the left hip crease, pressing your hip back and down. Right arm reaches up. maybe leans a little to the left, still sinking the hips forward. Quadricep stretch. Then I'll take my right elbow outside my left knee, my left hand to press into the right, turning my head to look to the left, and if I want to go deeper, right knee up off the floor. 1 or 2 more breaths here. Bringing the hands back down to the blocks now, and stepping the right foot up. Take the arms out to the sides, all the way up overhead, and then releasing your arms down. Roll the shoulders out. Coming from here into mountain posture, into Tadasana. So look down and parallel your feet. See that they're hip distance apart, toes straight ahead. Press down into the base of the big and the little toe. Close your eyes if you'd like. Inner and outer heel. Energize through the legs, but let your knees be soft. Draw the belly up and in. Take the sacrum down. Lengthen from the tailbone to the base of the skull and lift the upper body up. The front ribs going in and down. Take the arms out and up overhead. Stretch up and press down. Take a deep breath here. And as you exhale, take hold of your left wrist and lean over to the right. Crescent moon. Inhale, come back to the center. Take hold of the right wrist. Go over to the left. Come back up. Exhale the arms around behind you, onto your lower back. Send your sacrum down, your elbows together, your abdominals engaged. Lift the chest up towards the ceiling. Take 1 or 2 breaths here. Come back to the center. Let your feet come a little wider than hip distance apart. Take a standing twist. So lifting the opposite heel when you turn right, left heel lifts. When you turn left, right heel lifts. Let the arms be free as though they were empty coat sleeves. Let them just bang against the body. If you'd like, adding a little energy with a hara breath. So we'll go ha, 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 ha. 3 more. Ha, ha, ha. Good. Letting that go. Coming back to the center. Take your right hand on your heart, left hand on the belly. Take a few breaths here. And just notice what you feel. Opening your eyes. Coming back to the front of your mat. So here, you might have your blocks here if you'd like to use them. So from here, I'm going to come into Warrior 1, and then Warrior 3, and back to Warrior 1. So with my hands on my hips, I'm going to take a big step back with my left foot. I'm staying up on my toes. You might choose to bring your heel to the floor, up to you. I like to stay on my toes because it's easier for me to square my hips forward when I do that. So my right knee will be right over my right ankle. I'm again getting this nice stretch in the front of my left thigh, so quadricep stretch. Again, I want to take my ribs in, sink my tailbone down so I'm not overarching in my back, and then I'll bring the arms up towards the ceiling. My gaze is straight ahead, my chin is tucked, back of the neck is long, and taking a few nice easy breaths here. Full breaths in and out. Keep pressing through the back heel, whether it's lifted or down. Coming into Warrior 3, I'll lean over the right thigh, reaching forward. Here, if I'd like, I can grab my blocks, bring them out in front of my right foot, lift my left foot up towards the ceiling. So my left foot is now hip height, parallel with the body. Neck is in line with the spine, activating the left foot. And then if I'd like to bring some more energy, I'll come up onto my fingertips, engaging strongly in the core. From here, I might reach the right arm forward. And maybe the left too, if you're feeling the strength to do that. Taking 1 or 2 more breaths. And then bend the right knee, step your left foot way back, bring your blocks back. Come right back into Warrior One. Arms back up. Feeling the strength here in the body, and also softening where you can. Leaning forward again. This time I'll just take the left foot up and let the arms come down. Rolling shoulders up, back, and down. Preparing for the second side. Hands on the hips. This time taking the right foot back. Keeping on the toes, works on balance. If you feel unsteady, let your heel come to the floor. Check to see that your left toes are straight ahead, left knee over the ankle. Take those front ribs in. Press into that back heel strongly. And then lifting the arms up. Look straight ahead. Good, opening in the chest. Maybe sinking a little deeper. Careful not to let the knee go past the ankle. You should be able to see your toes. And then from here, you might lean over that left leg. Reach for the blocks if you need them. Otherwise, you're just balancing and lifting the leg. I'm going to use my blocks, bring them forward. Straighten the left leg, lift the right. Levelize the hips. Re-engage in the core. Coming onto the fingertips helps to engage the core a little bit more. And then reaching left arm forward. If the strength is there, reaching right arm forward. Whoop, not working for me today. Good. And bringing your hand down. Bend the front knee. Bring your blocks back. Bring your foot back. Find your balance. Come back to Warrior One. Few more breaths here. Careful not to overarch the back. See if you could sink a little lower. One last breath. Lean forward. Step your back foot up. Release the arms down. Shake the body out. Whew. From here, you're coming down to a seated position. So if you have your blanket or a cushion, you could sit on that. Could also do this without. I like sitting up on the blanket. It makes it a little easier to come forward, as we'll be coming into some forward bending. So here you might reach and spread the flesh of the buttocks. Let your sitting bones connect down into the floor. If you're sitting on a blanket, your hips are rolling forward and off of the blanket. From here, press your hands down and lengthen through the spine. Bend the right knee, right foot to the floor. Interlace your hands around the shin and pull the shin in. So your belly is now resting on that right thigh. Good, make sure your right hip is grounded. If it works for you, cross the right leg over the left. Coming into Matsyendrasana. Letting that right arm come all the way around behind you, pressing down into your blanket or the floor, right alongside your spine. On the inhale, I'll lift up. On the exhale, I'll turn the body to the right. So I might keep my hand to the outside of the right knee, or I might bring my elbow to the outside of the knee. Sitting up tall as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, maybe twisting a little deeper. See that your left toes are going right to the ceiling and your left leg is active. Looking all the way over that right shoulder, maybe turning to look over the right, and then back to the left so there's no tension in your neck. And then coming right back to the center. Now I'll take my right sole of my foot to the inner left thigh, and perhaps I'll use a block underneath that right knee. Coming into Janushirshasana. Lift my arms up towards the ceiling and stretch. As I exhale, I'll hinge forward without rounding the back. I'll inhale and lengthen and exhale and extend forward. If you need to bend your left knee, do that. You could feed a blanket under it or a block. Otherwise, the leg stays straight. When you've gone as far as you can with a long spine, let your fingers come to the floor. You could either rest right here, you could pull back on the floor and pull your chest forward, or you could walk your hands forward. If you could reach your foot, you'll take one hand to the inside, crossing at the wrist, one hand to the outside. Let your head drop down. Janushirshasana, head to knee pose. I like to think of it more as a head to foot pose, so you keep length in your spine. And then bringing your hands back to the floor, walking back, come back up. Straighten that right leg out. Shake your legs out. Second side. So now bending your left knee, interlace your fingers around the shin. I find that this helps me to sit up taller. Right, so you're pulling in on the shin, the chest is back, the head is lifted, chin is tucked, not lifted here. Right leg active, crossing left leg over the right. And then either my right hand to the outside of my left knee or the elbow as my left hand comes behind and pushes down into the blanket. Inhaling, lengthening, and exhaling and twisting. Looking over the left shoulder or the right shoulder or back and forth. Take one more breath. Coming back to the center. Taking the left sole of the foot to the inner right thigh. And then reach up with both arms. Again, you could support this left knee if you need to. Reach up, hinge forward. Come forward a little bit at a time, as far as you can go. Let your hands drop down. Walk your fingers towards your feet, your foot. Cross at the wrists. Maybe you're going to hold the lower leg someplace. Maybe you could reach the foot. If you can, keep thinking about the spine being long. Tuck your chin, drop your head. Feel the stretch in the back of the right thigh and calf and Achilles tendon. Inhale, come on back up. Moving your props away. Moving your blanket away. And then from here, bending your knees, feet flat on the floor. Bring your hands right underneath your knees. As you exhale, flatten around your back. As you inhale, sit up tall, overarch the back. Toes straight ahead. Exhale and round. Inhale and arch. Find that middle place where your spine is long. Keep the chin tucked. And if you can, pop your feet up off the floor. If you'd like to go deeper, let the arms come alongside your legs. Lift your legs a little higher, maybe straightening them. Upward boat. Could also take the arms out to the sides. Core work. Take one more breath here. Maybe one more breath. So I like. All right. And then hug your knees. Come all the way onto your back. Squeeze the knees into the chest. Make some circles. Circle in one direction and then go the other way. Nice massage for the back. Bringing your feet to the floor. Taking your arms out in a T position. And then from here, lift your hips up. Jog them over to the right. Straighten your left leg. Take your right foot off the floor and And with your left hand outside the right knee, drop the knee over to the left. If you'd like here, you could support the knee with a block. Turn your head, look over the right shoulder. Use your right hand and just pound a little bit into the flesh of the buttocks, the lower back, the outer hip, this whole area. Helps to loosen and release the fascia. Helps to relax here in the hip and the back. And take the arm back out to the side, maybe turning, looking over the right shoulder. One more breath here. Supta Matsyendrasana, recline spinal twist. Inhale, come back to the center. Bringing your left foot to the floor, lift your hips and send them all the way out to the left and down. Straighten the right leg, lift your left foot, drop the knee over to the right. Right hand could come to rest on the outer left knee, head could turn to the right. You could take your hand and massage here again into the hip, into the buttock, so you could rub or you could pound with your fist. Loosening up all of those tight muscles, all of that tight fascia. And breathing deep, full breaths here. Let the arm come back out to the side, come back to the center. Bring your hips back to the center. And here, if you're completing your practice here after this portion, you'll come into Shavasana. You can now turn off the video and stay in Shavasana for as long as you'd like, allowing the body to relax and absorb the benefits of everything that we've just done. If you're continuing to the second half of the practice, right from where you are, you'll take the right knee and hug it into your chest and straighten your left leg out on the mat. Pressing through the left heel, make sure your left toes are going right up to the ceiling. On the inhalation, let the knee come forward and away. On the exhalation, hug it in. Again, inhale, the knee comes away. See that the back of the neck is long and the face is soft. Exhale, hug it in. Shoulders on the floor when you're hugging in. Shoulders may come off the floor as you press into the knee. Last time, hugging that right knee in, sending the left heel away. Pavana Muktasana when we're leaving pose. Let your left foot now come to the floor and take your right ankle onto your left knee. Reach for the back of the left thigh and hug that left leg in towards you. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. And then rock a little bit side to side. Feel the opening in your right hip. Keep hugging that left leg in and sending that right knee away, finding your center place here. Good, feel that stretch. And now allow your right knee to come right over your left knee and find your shins. Pull your shins in towards the chest. Let your feet flex. Let them come apart from each other and up towards the ceiling. So you're pulling them away from each other and up. If you can, reach your hands all the way down and take hold of the outer edges of your feet and rock your body side to side. So you can actually just be hugging your knees in or your shins. See that you're not lifting your chin here. So tuck your chin. You might bring it onto a block or a blanket. Opening up here in the hips. And then uncross. Let your feet come back to the floor. Pause for a moment. And taking your left knee in, you'll straighten the right leg out on the mat. Flexing the right foot. Relaxing in the left. Inhale, let the left knee come forward. Exhale and pull it in. Inhale, the knee comes away. Shoulders come off the floor, back of the neck long. Exhale, squeeze it in. One last time, inhaling, knee comes forward. And on the exhale, I'll squeeze it in. Taking my right foot to the floor. Left ankle will come onto the right knee. I'll reach for the back of the right thigh and hug that right leg in, making sure my shoulders are on the floor. If they come way off the floor, you can keep your foot on the floor or use a strap if you have one, or a tie around the back of the right thigh. And then from there, rocking right to left. Let your eyes be closed, face soft, neck long, and just notice the sensation in your left hip. From here, find your center. Let your left knee cross over the right knee. Take hold of your shins, pull them in towards your chest. Flex your feet, and let your feet come up towards the ceiling and apart from each other. Use your hands to pull them apart and in. And then if you can, slide your hands down. If you can reach the outer edges of your feet, Gomukhasana, cow face legs, and then you'll rock your body from side to side. You should feel a very big hip opening here in your left side. Shin keeps wanting to lift, so I have to keep tucking it under. Then I'll release my feet and I'll bring them wide apart on the mat and rock my knees side to side. Opening up in the hips. Next time my knees go over to the right, I'll keep them there. I'll send that left knee forward and send the left arm back. Getting long on the left side. And then coming back to the center, I'll take my knees and drop them over to the right. Stretch the right arm back, reach the right knee forward to the wall in front of you. Long right side. And then I'll come back to the center, hugging my knees in towards the chest one more time, rocking a bit side to side. From there, I'm going to rock onto my side and then flip right onto the belly. So coming into Sphinx posture. So here on my belly, my elbows underneath my shoulders, my fingers are spread wide apart. I'm going to stretch the right leg back and the left leg back, pressing my pubic bone into the floor, pressing the tops of the feet into my floor. Now here, engage your abdominal muscles. So you're not sagging, but you're lifting and you're strong and engaged in the abdominals. Press down into the roots of the fingers and pull the floor back and pull your shoulders back and your chest forward. So you're not looking forward, you're looking down and you're keeping the back of your neck nice and long. Keep these actions going of pulling back, pressing down, engaging abdominals, taking those front ribs in towards the spine. Take a few more breaths here. Breathe. Inhale, lengthen here through your spine. Lift the ears away from the shoulders. Exhale, turn, look over the right shoulder. You could even let your left shoulder come forward a little. Come back to the center. Don't lose the engagement in the abs as you go to the left. One more time to each side. Coming to the center, over to the right, back to the center, over to the left. Come back to the center. If you'd like to go deeper in your back bend, you could take your hands, keep your elbows where they are, fingers out to the side, lift your elbows off the shoulders, your elbows off the floor. Okay. Good, and here, can you engage the abdominals? If this is too much for your lower back, then please come down. Otherwise, take one or two more breaths here. And then slowly lower yourself back down. Stack your palms, let your head come down, bend your knees, windshield wiper your feet from side to side. And letting your feet come back down to the floor, hands under the shoulders, and pressing back into either a puppy stretch, if you'd like to stay here, or going all the way back to your heels in child pose. Take a few resting breaths here. reach your arms forward, lift your hips up off your heels, slide your hands forward so you get some nice distance from your hands to your knees. Coming up into down dog, curl your toes under, lift your knees and your hips, and come up into down dog. In down dog, you could press the floor away, let your head just hang freely, engage those abdominal muscles. Good, hips going back and up. From here, we're going to walk to the front of the mat a little differently. Take your right foot, cross it over your left, so you're crossing your thighs one over the other. And then take your left foot, cross the left thigh over the right thigh. And then the right over the left thigh. Left thigh over the right thigh. If this isn't working, you could just walk up in another way. Good, otherwise continue to the front of the mat. Stretch for the outer leg. Good, and then bring your legs side by side, Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Soft knees here are good. You could hold your opposite elbows, let your head hang. Also interlace your fingers behind your head, let your elbows drop. Nice stretch for the back body. People with osteoporosis, osteopenia, you'll be here. Long spine, elbows on the knees. Wherever you are now, take your hands on your hips, soften your knees, press into your feet, begin to lift your head, and then use the strength of the legs to bring your body all the way up. Roll the shoulders up, back and down. Good. Okay. So turning to be in the center of your mat, so we're coming into some standing postures. So standing in the center of your mat, find your blocks, if you're using them, and take your blocks on the back corners of your mat. From there, coming into Tadasana, right in the center of your mat. Press down into your feet, lift your toes off the floor and get grounded, lift the arches off the floor. Take the shoulders up, back and down, let your toes come back down, let the back of the neck be long, abdominals, core engaged, face soft. And then from here, step your feet wide apart. 5-pointed star. I'm still in Tadasana, so I'm still pressing down into the four corners of my feet. I'm not lifting the inner edges of my feet off the floor. So pressing strongly into the base of the big toe, little toe, center of the heel, arms out to the side, 5-pointed star. Shoulders dropping down, reaching fingertip to fingertip. Preparing for triangle, I'm turning my feet, let's go to your right. Turning the feet to the right. Right toes all the way out, left heel slides back. Taking a breath in, I'll send my hips all the way to the left and reach, maybe I'll reach the right arm up a little so I can get some more length on the right side. And then I'll let the right arm come down without collapsing. Left arm up. Tuck your chin here. With your chin tucked, you can look down over the front leg. You might check to see your torso's over that leg. You could look forward or you could look up. Notice if your chin is tucked, you can't really turn your head as much. It's a little easier on the neck though. Inhale, take the arms back out. Exhale, bend your front knee, warrior two. Look over your right fingertips. Look down at your right knee and see that it's over the ankle and it's not collapsing in. Look at your back arm and make sure it's as high as your front arm. And then letting that left hand come down, right arm up, dancing warrior. Right back to warrior two. And into extended right angle. So here I'll take my left hand on my hip, I'll take the block and bring it right outside my right foot and turn the chest and open my chest. Lifting left arm up, maybe sending it over the ear. Extended right angle. Taking one more breath here. Come back to warrior two using the strength of your legs. So don't change your legs. Let the upper body come up. Woof. Straighten the front leg. Reaching back to triangle. Right arm up. Let your right arm come down to rest without collapsing the right rib cage. And the left arm up again. Tuck your chin. Either look forward, look down, or look up. Take the arms back up. Turn your feet forward. Release the arms down. Step your feet together for a moment. Shake them out. Second side. Back to your 5-pointed star. So be a good, comfortable legs distance apart. Nice and wide. Here you might even lift the arms, get a little more, wiggle a little more space between your ribs. And then turn your feet to the left. Left foot 90 degrees, right heel slides back. My hips will go to the right as I reach to the left. Left hand comes down, right arm up. Again, see what happens if you tuck your chin. Feel what it feels like in your neck when you're not, as opposed to when you are tucking the chin. Right back, up, and bending the front knee. Look over the left middle finger, warrior two. Watch that left knee, don't let it collapse in. Reach forward, right hand on the hip, left hand to the block right outside the outer edge of your left foot. Open the chest. Take the arm up, and reach the arm overhead. Good, you could look forward, you could look down, you could look up. Come back to warrior two. Keep your legs just as they are. Engage the core. Use your strength to come right back up. Straighten the front leg. Back to triangles. Reach that left arm up, forward. Let it come down. Right arm up. If you have shoulder issues, hand could be on the lower back, on the hip, wherever it feels safe for you. And then come back up. Turn the toes forward. Take your hands on your hips now and pigeon toe your feet. You may want to grab your block or blocks here. So we're coming down. You could either bring your hands onto the blocks or onto the floor, if you could do that without rounding your back. Prasarita Padottanasana. Walking your hands forward a bit. Keep the weight in the heels. Let your head hang. Shake it yes and no. Weight is back in the heels. So just letting this be a pause. A place to recollect your attention, relax through the body. Walk your hands back. And then turning your feet. Let's turn the feet to the right. Let's step back to down dog. Bicycling here in down dog. Letting your knees lower to the ground. Coming back to rest in child. Remaining in that place of non-judgmental, awake awareness. Noticing everything that's arising physically, mentally, and emotionally. Let it all be. From here, please find your way onto your back and have a block where you can reach it if you have a block. We'll prepare for bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. So bridge posture, feet flat on the floor, hip distance apart, in close to your hips, if your knees will allow that. Make sure the back of the neck is nice and long. If you're using a block, you can bring it between your knees now or your thighs, and you can squeeze that block to strengthen the inner thigh muscles. Coming into some pelvic tilts as you exhale, flatten the back and begin to lift just your tailbone, not your hips, just your tailbone. On the exhale, lift the back of your waistline and push your tailbone back down, pubic bone down. Inhale, pubic bone lifts, tailbone lifts, lower back flattens. And exhale, back arches. The next time you lift the tailbone up, let your whole body come all the way up. You could keep the arms alongside the body. You could bend your elbows. Let your fingers point to the ceiling, elbows in close to the ribs. Press down into the elbows and the upper arms and the feet. Or you could let your arms come underneath you and interlace your fingers. Walking your arms, elbows in towards each other, shoulders in, towards the spine. So you want to see here that your knees are reaching forward, that your abdominal muscles are engaged, that your front ribs, even here, are moving in towards the spine, and that the tailbone's moving towards the back of the knees and the buttock muscles are engaged. The heart and the chest are open. The face and the jaw are soft. Now see if you could just ride the waves of breath in and out of the body. Feel a little lift and expansion on the inhale. A little softening on the exhale. Come down if you need to. Otherwise, stay for a few more breaths. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Lift your hips way up as high as you can. Maybe come on your toes. And then as you exhale, slowly release your back. One vertebrae at a time if you can. The arms come back down. Remove the block. Lift your hips back up. And take the block now and place it underneath your sacrum. If you don't have a block, you could use a blanket. Take the right knee in towards your chest. And if it works for you, straighten the left leg out on the mat. Pavana Muktasana, as we did when we began. Pulling that right knee in and sending that left leg away. Feel the stretch in the front of the left thigh. Let the left knee come in. Let the right leg straighten. Keep the back of your neck long. Keep the front ribs in. Face soft. Feel the stretch here in the front of the right thigh. If it works for you, straighten the left leg alongside the right leg. If that's too much, you could go back to one at a time, or you could lift your legs up towards the ceiling. If it feels good to you, maybe stretch the arms overhead and let your whole body just surrender here, all your weight to gravity. Surrender all doing, all effort. Allowing everything now to relax, wherever you choose to be. So your knees might be bent with your feet on the floor, or your legs up in the up towards the ceiling. You might need to move the block away, and if you do, your feet come to the floor, you lift your hips and move the block aside. So from here, you'll take the next minute or so, or maybe 2 minutes, for whatever you'd like to do next. So you might choose to let your legs come up, let your arms come up and have an inversion. Maybe wiggling your fingers, your toes, circling the wrists and the ankles. Or you might choose to bring your feet down, move the block aside, bring your spine back down. Hug your knees in, maybe rock a bit side to side, maybe a spinal twist. Like to take your feet to the floor wide apart and rock your knees side to side. So don't even think about it, just see where your body wants to go. It doesn't even need to look like a yoga posture. It just needs to feel like it would feel really good. So check in with your body and see where it needs a little extra attention, a little extra care, a little extra love. And give that to yourself right now. This is a time to complete your practice in any way that serves you. Nobody can see you, so you could do whatever you want to do. Nobody's looking. And then over the next minute or so, find your way to rest in Shavasana. You might choose to put on your socks, or if you have a sweatshirt or a sweater, you may choose to cover yourself with a blanket. Take the time to get whatever you need so that you could be as comfortable as possible. You might use your blocks or rolled up blanket under your knees, or if you have a bolster. If you have back issues, it's nice to have your knees lifted. If you don't have anything to put under them, you might just bend your knees and let them come to rest against each other with your feet a little apart and the toes pointed in. That will help to ease your back. And find what position works for you with your arms. So maybe cactus arms like that, if that works for your shoulders. Maybe the arms are just away from the body with the palms up. Or maybe you'd like to have your hands resting onto your belly. Take some moments to find the position that feels just right to you. And when you do, how much can you let go into that position and just allow your body to soften? Calling on that place of non-judgmental, alive, awake awareness. Using these last few minutes of your practice to just observe. Notice again the sounds that are around you right now. Notice the sensations inside of your body. Notice if there's any places that may have opened a bit in the body or places that are still feeling tight. How does your body feel right now? Checking in too with your heart space to notice how you're feeling. Notice what's been living in your heart. Are there feelings there that you've been denying or pushing away not to feel them? Maybe some feelings of worry or fear or anxiety. So allow them to be here. Allow yourself to feel these feelings. The only way to get through these feelings is to feel them. We know that what we resist persists. So they'll keep knocking on your door to be felt. So maybe invite them in. In this place of loving, non-judgmental, kind awareness. Acknowledge whatever feelings are here. And trust that, like everything else, they will pass as everything comes and goes, ebbs and flows. Letting go, letting go, and letting be. If you'd like to remain in Shavasana, then please stay where you are for as long as you need to. Give yourself this gift of relaxation, presence, non-judgmental awareness. If you'd like to transition into a seated position, you might do that now by wiggling your toes and your fingers and drawing your knees into your chest and rocking a bit from side to side. Landing on one side, resting in the fetal position for just a few breaths. When it feels right, finding your way to a seated position, sitting up nice and tall, lifting through the crown of the head, relaxing through the whole body, acknowledging yourself for taking the time to practice today. Bringing the hands together in prayer in front of the heart. Bowing in gratitude for all that we have to be grateful for and how blessed and abundant our lives are. And now bringing into your hearts all those that are less fortunate than ourselves. And sending out our prayers, our thoughts, that all beings may be free from this suffering, that we may move through this pandemic as swiftly as possible, that we all may be healthy and strong, that we may all come together, live together as one in a peaceful world. Namaste, and thank you so much for being here today. Stay well.